All right, let's start the cold open of today's episode with a little comparison between the U87ai and the U89i. So what you're listening to right now is the U87ai going into the MT48 with no EQ on it. And this is the U89i also going into the MT48, but it does have a little bit of EQ on it, just a touch of EQ to try to get a little bit closer to the U87 sound. Now let me take it out completely. Now this is the U89 with no EQ on it, the raw sound of the U89. And going back to the U87, you can definitely hear a difference, but what else is different between these two mics? Let's find out.
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemcoff.
Struggling to book gigs? This isn't just a voiceover book, it's your career roadmap. Gear, mindset, clients, auditions, finally explained. The modern voiceover career owner's manual. Get booked, stay booked. Now, most of you know the 87 as the industry icon, the mic that screams Pro Studio. But the 89, that's the mic that was supposed to take the 87's place, and it didn't. Let's find out why. And in order to do that, let's roll the tape back to 1967 when the original U87 was released as a solid-state successor to the famous tube-based U67. And it quickly became a legend. In fact, the head basket and capsule design were lifted directly from the U67. And the sonic footprint, fat, mid-forward, and generally flattering. A mic that made just about everything sound more like a finished record. But in the late 1970s, Neumann started to rethink their iconic U87. So the U89 debuted in 1980. Smaller head basket, different internal acoustics, and a brand new capsule, the K89, as opposed to the U87's K87. It was cleaner, more linear, more neutral, and the idea was to offer a modern alternative to the 87 that could handle a wider dynamic range, more SPL, and deliver a less colored, more accurate sound. And internally, the U89 is a more advanced mic, lower self-noise, higher headroom, 5 polar patterns instead of 3. So technically, it is a better mic, but there was one big problem. People didn't want neutral. They wanted the magic. So what are the sound differences? All right, so this is the U87 again with no EQ on it. So how they sound different? All right, the U87ai's got a warm low-mid push around 250 to 500 hertz, a gentle presence bump in the 5 to 8K range. And that mid-range is part of what gives it that radio-ready sound. There's a touch of saturation to it, but not from tubes, but from the way the internal transformer and capsule work together. Now, the U89, on the other hand, it's flatter, more extended, the bass kind of rolls off a little bit more gradually, and there's less of that pillowy mid-range. And instead of the warmth and charm of the 87, the U89 gives you a clearer, drier picture, which is great for dialogue or instrument recording where you don't want color. It is the anti-U87, and that is by design. The U89 wasn't built to flatter, it was built to reveal. And there's more to the U89 than you think, because let's give it some extra credit. Now, first off, the capsule. The K89 is an edge-terminated design, unlike the K87 center termination. And that design helps reduce internal reflections and contributes to the U89's very clean, consistent off-axis response. And it's part of why this mic behaves so well in rooms with less than perfect acoustics and why it excels in complex multi-mic environments. And while the U87 tops out at 117 dB SPL before distortion, the U89 handles 134 dB SPL without a pad and 140 dB with it. You can throw this mic at a brass section, screaming vocal or shouty VO session, and it won't blink. And its 5 polar patterns aren't just for show. Unlike some mics that only sound good in cardioid, the U89 is consistent across omni, wide cardioid, cardioid, hypercard, and figure 8. And the wide cardioid setting is particularly good for VO if you want to, kind of range a little bit more when you're doing your work. And it's got such a great off-axis response. It's got one of the best ones Neumann ever designed. And that makes it ideal for podcast interviews or VO work in less than perfect rooms. And look, it doesn't turn room reflections into tonal mud. That I like. Now, the bottom line is the U89 is the mic that gets out of the way. It's not trying to make you sound like a record. It's trying to make you sound like you, accurate, clean, and, but it's got incredible headroom. So no wonder it's become kind of a quiet favorite for engineers in film, scoring classical music, ADR, and in narration. So how do you EQ the 89 if you want it to sound more like an 87, right? The way I did in the beginning. Look, I'll show you that in a moment. So, but here's the takeaway. All right, so the U89, it's kind of a smarter, more versatile tool. The 87ai is a sonic legend, but one was meant to replace the other, but in the end, they both found their place. The truth is, you don't have to choose sides. Just know what you're working with and whatever sound you're chasing. All right? So thanks for joining me today, the U87 versus the U89. So let's go to that EQ. All right, so let me show you what I got here. So again, here is the 87 with no EQ on it. And here we are on the 89 with no EQ on it. Let me show you what I got. So this right here is what I have, a little quick EQ to try to give it a little bit more of that 87 mojo. And what we got going here, let me just show you. All right, so what I have is a little bit of a roll-off, a little low shelf here, right? Is turned off because they both have an 80 hertz roll-off, 80 hertz high pass. But if I wanted to, I could take a little bit like a dB off of it, like around 100, just to kind of get it a little bit more in that zone. Now again, here's the 80, here is the 89, and here's the 87. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 89, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're not going to sound exactly alike. Now what else do I have here? I have a 299. I couldn't dial it into 300. For some reason, it just kind of won't get into 300, 299. So I've got a dB of a gain, a little bit of pop here at 300, just 1 dB. And it's kind of a little bit of, not really necessarily a very wide Q. We've also got this 5.5K, a little 2.2, basically just a little bump here, right? 2.2 decibels. So between like 2 and 3, 1.5 and 3, depending on what you like. And then we have a little air bump at 10, right? Just a little high shelf at 10. And even though this was a very quick EQ job to get them kind of closer to each other, what we have here is, the general consensus is that you can EQ an 89 to sound like an 87. But it's harder to EQ an 87 to sound like an 89. And truthfully, the 87 just has a little bit more mid-forwardness. You're not going to get that with the 89. You're not going to get that because of the extra saturation involved with the combination of this capsule and transformer working together. So the simpatico there creates this nice little bit of Neumann mid-range fuzz that I think is really the iconic sound of the 87. But back on the U89, the U89 is great for being a little less aggressive. So, I've never really completely found my swerve with the U89, but I'm going to spend this summer really trying to figure out exactly how to make the U89 work on more projects for me. Because I use it on some stuff, but not enough. And I think it's a great sounding mic. But what do you think? What do you think? So again, here is the U89 with a little bit of EQ on it, just a little touch of EQ. And of course, if you have like a better EQ matching program, I'm just doing this by ear. So if you have a program that will match it, you can probably get a lot closer. So here it is with the EQ on it, and here it is without the EQ on it. And definitely you can hear a little bit more of a softer mid-range. And again, the 89 may be better for instruments than it is for voice. And then here's the 87. So that iconic 87 sound. And again, there's no EQ on this, but I would tell you the truth. This is the EQ. I'd put a little bit of EQ on it, just a little bit, just for me and for this room, to make it pop a little bit more. So this is where I would use it. But you don't really need it. So here it is without it. So tell me what you're thinking. What do you think of the 87 versus 89, right? Which one would you take to a desert island? Let me know in the comments. All right, till next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemcoff. Fading to black.